All right, so with our foundation done, we are now able to start focusing on logging some logs in order to do the walls of the cabin. What we're going to do is put pillars on the four corners and around where our doors are going to go, because our trailer needs new tires and we just have the Suburban to pretty much have that length of logs. And so this is how we're going to be able to be doing that. And it just kind of allows us to fully measure out and double check what we are going to be needing. So let's hop to it. We are cutting beetle kill off a property we got permission to cut on to get the logs we need for a part of the cabin.
These trees, we don't want to put a bunch of chainsaw marks. We like a little bit more.
Some of the trees are on a hill, so gravity can be an issue, especially when we want the tree to fall up the hill instead of down. Do you want help? After the tree is down and cleaned up, we measure out the logs for the height of the log. Right now, these are vertical logs that we are putting up for a little bit of added support and to help guide where we are putting our edges. We are limited by the length of the Suburban for now. It's not fancy, but it works. The 11-foot logs we need for the long walls will need to be found on the property because they won't be able to be hauled by the Suburban, and we are not lifting 11-foot logs onto the top of the Suburban and strapping them down. We could, but no. With all that being said, nobody really builds in the wintertime, especially in Alaska. But we want to get our cabin up and work on the AirBNBs when it's prime building season in the summer, and we can get those up a lot faster, make them look a lot better because it's going to be easier without having 5-ish feet of snow on the ground.
So, these two might be wall logs. Actually, we'll have to cut the
Okay.
This is building a log cabin is artwork. You have to.
It is also a lot easier to burn the brush in wintertime when we are clearing out a whole bunch of trees and getting a whole bunch of brush that we need to burn, because between the temperatures and the snow, the fire is a lot less likely to spread.
There's 4 logs under 5 minutes. I'll just finish it.
We are still being careful about the fire, but we can burn more now than in the summer. And it also helps provide a heat source to stay warmer for longer, which is really nice because when you are outside in the cold all day long, you feel the cold more the longer you are in it. And by the end of the day, you just want to warm up.
There's a hole on your left coming up. I found that 5 different times yesterday.
Granted, being acclimated to these temperatures does come with time and being out in it for a while. But at the same time, whether you're used to these temperatures or not, a heat source is really nice, especially while you are working outside all day long.
Hold on to this next time. I'm gonna lose it.
With that being said, and despite the added challenges of the Alaskan winter and building in the snow and cold temperatures and off-gridding and building a house for the first time, we are making a lot of progress really fast. Even though a lot of this progress is trial and error, sometimes needing to redo some things, it is still life skills and knowledge that school doesn't teach us. And since this is uncharted territory for me, the task of building a log cabin is both complex and simple, overwhelming and easy at the same time. The main thing is I am trying not to make any mistakes. I am a perfectionist after all. But the reality of the matter is that mistakes are going to be made, and fixing them may suck more than others, but that's the nature of building, especially when it is your first cabin. Now, I'm not going in this blind. I have watched videos and I've done my research, but nothing compares to actually doing it yourself. You run into problems that weren't covered on the video or whatever you watched for research, and you need to figure out how to solve the problem on your own. Because maybe you're building a different way than what anyone ever has before. And that's how discoveries are made. That's how new methods are drawn up. Someone did something different and it worked. So you can't let fear stop you from trying something new. You never know what may come of it. And if you never push your limits, you won't know what you're truly capable of, and you'll always look back and wonder, what could I do? Okay, so now we're on the property. Taylor is going to do a little bit of chainsawing, get some brush together to start a fire, while I start unloading the logs for the walls out of the truck. And when he's done getting the fire prepped, he'll come over and help unload if there's any left. The trails we have made are finally good enough for me to feel comfortable hauling the logs while walking in snowshoes. There's still a few heavy logs that I need to tire flip or carry on my hip because I can't get it to my shoulder. I have noticed my strength increasing as I start taking a bit more of the workload at times. Efficiency is always on our minds, and we have an ever-changing game plan. So these are 2 log pillars that Taylor has that I'm going to use to go ahead and peel the bark off these logs to make them good and ready for the walls of the cabin.
I like doing it a little bit more off the ground, save the back. So teaching something as basic as log peeling, I don't like to go into too much detail. I like to show you how you can cut your leg if you scrape too fast and it goes through. But otherwise, these skills are to be developed kind of on your own, and everybody has their own technique. I don't like to micromanage and give too much information. It's just something that you're going to hone in on your own. Nobody ever showed me how to do this. I had to learn on my own, and I think that's the best way to learn.
It is nice to be around someone who has done this before and has the skills, knowledge, and experience. He's able to show me what he knows and just lets me have at it, letting me put my own spin and knowledge into it. My thing is I love to improve processes and problem solve. I enjoy challenging myself and asking, how can I improve this skill or process?
It's like peeling a big carrot.
And sometimes my ADHD gets me sidetracked.
Potato. Something that needs to get peeled. It's like peeling a vegetable.
Whether it's efficiency or asking questions on why things are done a certain way, Normally, the response I get is because that's the way it's always been. Or I enjoy finding a new way. Sometimes it works, other times it doesn't, but that's the challenge that I love. I am the type of person who does not accept answers like, because I say so, or it's just done that way. And if someone tells me that I can't do something, I do it specifically to prove them wrong. Like building a cabin in the middle of winter, for example. The thing is, when I put my mind on something, no matter the roadblock or obstacle, I'll find a way around it. Some call it being stubborn or annoying. I call it being resilient and persistent.
This cabin build is completely different than the one I've done in the past. I'm putting the post on top of the floor and I'm just gonna go with it. If something doesn't work, I'm gonna adapt and change it and move forward. That's what I love about building my own log cabin, is I can do it my way and there's no set of rules or instructions to follow. It's basically do what works for us and makes us happy. Plenty tall. Nobody needs an 8-foot roof.
Huh?
I said nobody needs an 8-foot roof.
Yeah, as long as you don't hit your head all the time.
Yeah, it's not something that I would do.
Probably not. Okay. This one's all sorts of knotted.
Naughty log. That one's kind of too small. Possibly. I don't know. Yeah, sure.
Oh, come on. How in the world did I move these from the truck?
We are building what we need and designing the cabin to be functional. With how busy we are and the plans that we have for the future, we know we won't be spending a lot of time in the cabin, so we aren't currently taking the time to build extra luxuries. Not saying we have to go without them. There are just other things higher on our priority list, and we don't want a grand, luxurious, complicated lifestyle. We do this for the simplicity and how we feel comfortable and good living. And if we find ourselves wanting more in the future, then we can build it.
Perfect. I didn't realize how much work there is. Yes.
That's fine.
The log did not want to stay still because it was on top of another log, and it just kept moving on me until I moved it over and it dropped. Alright, so we have 2 corners of the house up, another one log peeled, a 17-foot log that's going to go from the floor all the way up to our roof, halfway log peeled. We have another 4 logs that we can use so far, and that's day 6 of working on the property. Alright, next day on the property, a top 2. So our game plan for today, we got some more 2x6s. We're going to go on the base of our foundation and add a little bit more support, as well as log peel another couple of logs, get the other 2 corners up, and then we're going logging.
I have a spirit of a pioneer. If you go back 150 years in Alaska, people were building log homes and living and surviving the winters without blueprints, without videos and books. It's just something that's natural that you do. This is our frontier, and every log is custom. More shoveling. And we're building a custom log cabin, and nobody's built a log cabin on this property before. So we're gonna do it our way and what makes us happy. Okay, one more corner. Just gotta clear some of this out so we can put some 2x6 bracing on the bottom of the floor or foundation. We're building this so it's not permanent, to where it could get moved with a skid steer in the summertime or in the future. So everybody watching, take that into consideration. There she goes. We need to get the roof up. As you can see, I'm shoveling out the snow because there's no room for me to be able to get in there and use the drill to put up the braces. It's very tight. So I needed to give myself a little room, plus we need room to work around to actually put our logs up and build. I'll be shoveling snow throughout the build, but a little at a time is better than doing it all in one day. I'm trying to save my back so I can be productive during the build. Here I'm putting up the post for the door frame. In between these posts, we will fit the logs in, and we will toenail screw them in to the post to secure them. It's a different way of building that you don't see very often, but I know it works. So here I'm making sure that I cut both ends of the post flat, not just cutting it to size. It's hard to cut these posts flat when they're standing up and you're on a ladder with a chainsaw. So I missed a few to where the tops are a little off, but I will be able to fix it. And this is a custom log cabin build. Everything's custom.
Alright, so I believe it is day 8 on the property. We have some of our pillars up. Our door is marked right there. And we have our first wall log up that is going to get secured. Right now we don't have everything secured properly because we are simply getting the layout and the design. And so today we're gonna go and get more trees for more logs and start getting our walls up. Yesterday Taylor made a stand for us to be able to log peel a little bit easier, and yeah, we didn't really feel like recording yesterday, so it was pretty much just a whole bunch of clearing out the dead beetle kill and just kind of doing what we could. It was a little bit of a late start. Today too, but we got this.
I'll save these for warm up.
Okay. Alright. Or not.
Okay, I'm gonna get some building logs. We've been clearing brush and having more fun. Today's a work day. We gotta get this thing built. We got some over here. We got one here, a couple over here. We've been getting late starts because we literally don't know when our last day off is. We've been working every day. I don't have tons of huge logs on this property.
Look at that one. Looks decent at the bottom. A big one there. There's one over there. And they're all dead, so we don't enjoy killing green trees either.
I was pretty excited to find these logs. I went on an exploration the day before and found these, but they are a couple football fields back and the snow has been kind of melting, so it's kind of hard to snowshoe in. This is a decent patch and I really needed these logs for the 12-foot sides on our cabin. It's one thing to cut them down and to prep them for log peeling, but the whole time I'm thinking is I have to haul all these out on my shoulders. They're too big to fit in the sled, and we don't have our snow machine at this property.
We're gonna make a pile. We're gonna burn this stuff.
One thing is, doing this, you get a mess right away with the brush, and if I don't take care of it now, they become just like an area for the mosquitoes, and I really just want to get it cleaned up as I go.
All right, we got a fire going. Just burning the brush.
If I don't keep up with it, there'll just be these huge piles, and there'll always be a reason why I can't burn it, and it's nice just to stay ahead, so this area of the property will be clean and cleared and just look like a nice forest.
Dang it.
Since my chain fell off, I had Katrina to go ahead and cut the ends of these flat and measure these logs out to length and get them ready. Her saw was also acting up. I don't claim to be a professional sharpener of the chains. It's artwork that I'm still learning, and she did a great job. This is a big help because I was already getting really tired from cutting all these, and she was clearing the brush out of the way so we could even access the logs to measure and cut them. And everything just takes a lot of time, and snowshoes are just so hard to work in. Imagine putting on flippers and trying to run a chainsaw. So I have to carry these out on my shoulders and try to stay on the trail, and the snow will break and I will fall in a hole and the log will fall, and I'm saving my energy to haul these because that's like the biggest part of the job. Everything else is pretty easy. Carrying a log with snowshoes on your shoulders, a couple football fields, is just really tough. But I know it's going to be worth it because we're going to have our own home and be more self-sufficient, and I know how hard I have to work to pay rent where I'm currently staying at, and here in a short month or two, we're going to own our own home free and clear, which is definitely worth the effort. Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Okay, now that we have a couple of logs over here for the wall that are 11 feet long, a little longer than what we need, so that way we can trim them down to the exact measurements, because the logs could be a tiny bit curvy of the ones that we put up. I'm going to go ahead and get these 11-foot logs on here, while Taylor is currently hauling the rest over from where we were cutting them down. And let's get to log peeling.